across the board budget freeze, and that's what we do in order to make sure that it's implemented. And if by chance we have some sort of a carry forward because of the new growth figures or the other unanticipated revenue sources, terrific, because, you know, we're gonna need every dime that we can going into the fiscal year 2010. So, my standpoint is one member of the board, implement now, move forward. Maybe in a minority, I don't think so.
Well, there's two votes for that. I have the same position. We'll vote now.
Well, there's three. I thought I presented that.
Yeah,
this evening.
yeah.
But with all due respect, that was not my question, because that is what I thought you presented. And perhaps I'm not being clear. I was hearing that general government needs to find $100,000 in savings. And I heard the town administrator say
Yep.
that the first pass of that would be through a hiring freeze.
Right.
So let's assume that that number isn't going to change for now, that new growth comes in what you're expecting, and you're comfortable with that number. Perhaps you've already realized $100,000 with the hiring freeze, I don't know. But if you haven't, and you get to June, no one leaves general government until June 15th, because a hiring freeze means that you save money through not filling the vacant position. When you get to June 15th, how do you ask your department heads to make up what could be
We're not gonna
$30,000?
wait. We're not waiting.
Well, I'm asking, how long do you wait before you make that decision?
I think we're close to identifying. I think we have the means by which to realize that goal very quickly.
Already.
Already.
Now, respectfully, the town administrator is looking at the ways to do it. He's been working with the department heads. I think they haven't quite worked out the best solution at this point.
It'll be like that.
Sorry, yes,
I think, I hear the school committee and I hear Dr. Trojan say that there's line items of what they're gonna change, the paraprofessional, the substitute, the not hiring specific positions, the not buying paper, ink, but I don't hear the government doing the same thing. Town doesn't, they're saying, like Marcy was saying, if somebody doesn't get, if somebody quits, we're not gonna rehire. I don't hear those line items on town government side. What are we gonna do about overtime? What are we gonna do specifically about other items so that we can do the same kind of cuts that I hear coming from the school committee? I hear the school department making very specific things that are making parents concerned, but I don't hear any of those things coming from the town government side. What kind of specific things, and a hiring freeze, as Marcy said, unless somebody leaves, isn't any money savings. So there's gotta be some other kind of line items that are coming from town government to make up for their shortfalls.
Sorry, I don't think it's realistic to say that there's going to be leaving government. We have over 100 positions, and I'm routinely presented with a request at least once a week for rehiring new positions. There's consistent turnover here, so in that regard, the town certainly will enforce and move forward with the hiring freeze. We certainly will piggyback onto the proposal that the school put forth in terms of what our plan is to try to save money. We certainly will cut back on paper and energy and lighting, but realistically, you're dealing with at least 20 different departments on the municipal side, and to ask each municipal department to shut their lights off or turn their computer off, we've got at least 5 different buildings. The easiest and the most effective ways for us to implement cost savings is to freeze money in the budget, as Mr. Messeri had presented this evening. Simply freeze money in the budget, a set percentage, and do it across the board. Now, those departments will each be faced with a challenge in terms of how they will absorb that cut within their budget. And that is the challenge that I think we're not prepared to discuss this evening. But we are prepared to discuss and move forward with the fact, based upon the comments heard from the board this evening, that we will freeze those dollars. Those department heads who are sitting behind me to my right will be charged with the responsibility of implementing those changes in their budget. And it really is up to them to get there. I don't think it's really an issue that I can get too deep into the discussion until we have a chance to talk.
For the purposes of tonight, assuming that the Department of Revenue approves the new growth number, for all intents and purposes, the budget that we voted on in April is now, is set. In other words, there'll be no changes in it, 2009 budget.
Except that it is the board, this presentation that I made, and the board has asked the town administrator to identify savings as if that never happened. And the reason for it, I tried to make that case, is that what lurks out there is additional cuts. The cuts that I presented this evening are known cuts, primarily town-based shortfalls in revenue. Did not include the change in state aid. If that happens, we're back in the same ballgame. The issue of why prepare and make and address cuts, I think, goes back to what Marcy was getting at, is, you know, a $200,000 cut in the school budget at mid-year means $400,000 worth of cuts. That's not 100% true, because it depends on what those cuts are. But you can look at it that way. The longer you wait, the deeper you have to cut to make up the difference, albeit a shorter period of time. I think our goal is for 6 months to have the appropriate adjustments in place. And we will, unfortunately, we won't know when the last, you know, what's going to fall until January, February. And therefore, it's prudent to have those in place. And then we can make a decision then, depending on what happens, as to whether we need to make adjustments or loosen things up. Based on the 2010 shortfall, it's my opinion at least, that we don't loosen things up, that we in fact try to carry that forward to help with next year's budget. Anyone else? It's 10 o'clock. Can I adjourn the public hearing? So adjourned. Thank you for coming and participating. Greg, do we have any other issues? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Bean, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor? Opposed?
No, don't say a phone. Sounds like you want to be here with that one.
Letter from town council. We did. But, you know, that's all, basically, square that whole thing away. I'm sorry, I thought 100%.